Last week we talked about in math a lot of 2D shapes, and I realized I wanted to give you a little bit more information on 2D, but you've probably been working with a lot of 2D shapes even since preschool or TK. So I want to really push forward on 3D shapes, which we call solids, this week. So I'm going to give you this brief video. I hope it helps you understand these shapes in solids, but I want to go back to 2D. Now, remember, 2D shapes are flat, not fat. So I want you to think of a flat shape. Okay, this is a square, and it says 2D shape sides, which we've talked about before. Sides are the lines that make the shape. Okay, now we've also talked about vertices. Now I only want you to look at the top part of this page because this is a 2D shape. This looks like a rhombus. Okay, it could be a rhombus of any kind, but this says vertices. Now remember, those are the corners. There's 4 vertices. It's only pointing to 3, but there are 4 vertices on a rhombus. There's also 4 vertices on a square, on a rectangle. Those are the corners, okay? Now there's also vertices on 3D shapes, on a 3D solid, and those are the corners that stick out. So you have to kind of use your imagination for this because there's going to be one way back there, one here, one here, one here, just like a square. That's 4, but it also has one at the top of that pyramid. Okay? 3D shapes also have something different than 2D shapes. They have faces. So 2D shapes have sides, and 2D shapes have vertices. 3D shapes have vertices. They also have faces, which are kind of like what the 2D shapes make up. So if you look at this cube, this is called a cube if it's a solid, and there looks like a bunch of squares. Okay, you can tell there's like squares. That's the faces. It says faces are the flat surfaces of 3-dimensional solids. Okay, they also have edges, which are similar to sides, but they're a little bit different. Edges. 3D shapes have edges. 2D shapes don't have these. Edges are the lines where 2 faces meet on a solid. So this triangle and this triangle, they butt up next to each other, and that line right there is called an edge. Okay, now I want to go through a couple of our 3D shapes. So this is a cone. Think of like a party hat. Think of an ice cream cone. That's what a cone shape is. Properties of a cone. They have a vertex up here at the top. That's the corner. Face. They have 2 faces. One that goes all the way around, like the party hat part, and then one that's on the bottom. Okay? And the edge. It has one edge where the shapes meet, because remember, this isn't a triangle sitting on top. It's kind of like a whole rolled piece of paper. So find some kind of shape of a cone. This one might be one you have to make with paper, which I've attached on the website in the math section too. So you might have to make this one, but it is a 3D shape. It's fat. It sticks out. It has one vertex, one edge, and 2 faces. That's a cone. A cube. Properties of a cube. A 3-dimensional shape. It sticks out. This one has 6 vertices. We're going to see if we can count the vertices together. Okay, I'm going to help you count vertices. It's the vertex. Okay, let's see. 1 right there. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, Mrs. Bilby counts more than that. I wonder if this got this wrong, because actually a cube has 8 vertices, and I'll show you why. Here, let me get my little tool, and I'm going to turn it yellow so it'll be a little easier to see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So they actually got this wrong. There are 8 vertices on a cube. Okay, there are 6 faces though. It'd be 1, 2, 3, 4 on this front. If you look at the back side, 5, and the back side of this one, 6. It's kind of hard to imagine, but there are 6 faces. There are 12 edges on a cube as well. I want to see if you could pause the video and find all 12. You might have to use your imagination because you might have to see if there's some lines that would be there that you can't exactly see. Okay, so that's a cube. Basically, I really want you to know that it's three-dimensional and it looks like a bunch of squares making up a fat cube. Okay, we won't go through all of these, but properties of a cylinder. Now, a cylinder is like two circles with wrapping around the insides. Okay, it's a 3D shape. There are 0 vertices. There's no corners. There's no corner edges where they meet. But there are corner vertices where they meet. But there are 2 edges. Okay, an edge here and an edge here. Okay, the edge here, and an edge here. The face goes all the way around the shape. It would help if you could have a cylinder. An easy cylinder would be like a can of soup or a can of vegetables. If you could go find one of those and kind of touch it, feel it, look at it, that would help you to understand more of the properties of a cylinder. A sphere is like a ball, okay? It's a 3D, almost like a 3D circle. It doesn't have any vertices, but it has one curved edge. That's kind of tricky, and it has one face, okay? Because there's no 2 shapes that kind of make this up. It's all rounded, okay? I'm going to skip a few of these. I want to go to this one, rectangular prism. This is like a tissue box or like a hardcover book. These are hard because they look scary. Rectangular prism is kind of a scary word, but it's really easy. It's 3-dimensional. It looks like a rectangle. That's probably why they call it a rectangular prism. But it has almost the same stuff as a cube. It's just stretched out a little bit. So spend a little bit of time looking at those. Again, see if you can find the 8 vertices or the 8 corners. Remember, this says it wrong. There are 8. I want you to find 8 vertices. Okay, just take a little bit of time to look at that, look that over. And there's lots of these other cool shapes, but I want you to start on those for now. I'm going to go right back to the beginning. Back to the beginning. Here we go. In 2D shapes, the flat ones, there are sides and vertices. In 3D shapes, they stick out. So there are vertices, faces, and edges. That's something that's a little bit different about 3D shapes. Go on a shape hunt, find some in your house, and we'll do a little bit more work on them. Enjoy.